Hi everybody, we're going to talk a little bit more about heat sources tonight. So if I take a material like my hand and I put it in contact with something that is cooler, whose atoms are moving more slowly, like this spoon, if I put them in contact, then the heat will transfer from the warmer material, my hand, into the cooler material, which is the spoon, until they both reach the same temperature. So the atoms in the cooler thing, the spoon, will begin to speed up and move faster as the atoms in my hand slow down until they reach the same temperature. That's called equilibrium. Whether or not something is considered a heat source really depends on its surroundings. So if I put a warmer object into hot surroundings, then it's no longer really a heat source, is it? If I put a warm cup of coffee, like this one, on a hot stove top, then the coffee is no longer the heat source, is it? Because it's cooler than the stovetop. The atoms in the stovetop are moving much faster than the atoms in the coffee cup. So in this case, the stovetop would be considered the heat source. If I leave my coffee cup on the desktop and come back to it later, then the heat will have transferred to the air around the coffee cup and into the room until the coffee and the room are the same temperature. A primary heat source is a heat source that can produce its own heat, whereas a secondary heat source cannot. A secondary heat source gets its heat from a primary heat source. Then it can transfer or transmit its heat to something else. So if we take our kettle, it's filled with some hot water, we can use the hot water to fill up the hot water bottle, which becomes a secondary heat source, and then it transfers its heat into the nice, comfortable, cozy bed. Remember I said that heat is not a thing, but a process. Here are some examples of how different types of energy can produce heat. Electrical energy is converted into heat energy when you use objects such as computers, electrical stove elements, toasters, hair dryers or light bulbs. Generally, if it plugs into the wall and produces heat, it's made from electrical energy. Okay. Movement energy, otherwise known as kinetic energy from friction, causes heat too. For example, you can rub your hands together. I'm no artist. You can sharpen your pencil and create heat, or maybe spin your skateboard wheels. Chemical energy, including burning. So, for example, foods that we eat are converted into heat in our bodies. Fire, candles and gas heaters all burn to produce heat. And light energy from the sun is converted into heat as the sun's rays warm up the Earth's surface. This is called radiation. So as you go wandering around trying to find heat sources, if you find something that warms up your hand, you can rest assured that you've probably found yourself a heat source. Thanks, see you later. Don't forget to summarise the video, and I'll see you in class.